What is going on? It is an awesome Saturday night here on the MSR Network. You are watching the New Dawn Live podcast. Man, we got the guys on the live show with a couple of special guests. I'm your host tonight, speaking in for my boy Falco, who's we want to shout out real quickly. Happy anniversary to Falco and Lady Falco. They're having a great weekend for them. So he's sitting out. I'm filling in as host, but I got a great panel. I got my boy behind the scenes making sure we look and sound clean. What's going on, Kylo? I'm feeling good, man. We also get to Jugs, one of our regular members here on New Dawn. What's going on, Jugs?
Oh, man, I'm ready today, man. What's going on, y'all? Let's get it.
As well, we have, you know him around the league. You even heard him on New Dawn a couple of times. Chicago Bear, perennial playoff contender, Super Bowl champion as well. Taco, how you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good, living the dream.
As always. And this is a special guest here tonight that I want to introduce, a member of the Madden community, and also he runs the MSPA. You can find him in the Madden Accord server as well on Twitter, MSPA info _. Want to shout him out. Moe is in the building. Moe, what's going on?
Not a lot, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you joining. Moe, we spoke about this in the pre-show meeting. Moe was, he reached out following the recent episode of the New Dawn podcast, which you can check on Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Search up the MSR Network. Moe reached out after hearing that recent episode. We're gonna get to that later in tonight's show, but man, I'm glad that you joined. I'm waiting to, you saw before coming in, that was the MSPA logger that Moe and his crew over there put together. Speak a little bit about that. I reached out after seeing it in the Madden Accord server yesterday, and I was like, man, that just looks so creative as folks start to see some of your graphic work, man. It just speak about that. You talk about having these ideas, right?
Yeah, I try to think outside the box, man. Like when I go through some of these videos, I'm trying to find things that nobody else does. I think the MSPA has kind of made their name being a little bit different, thinking outside the box. We don't really follow a whole lot of norms. We just try to create our own path and kind of see where we go from there. And when I saw the logger commercial, that it was pretty easy to edit up and put our stuff in, I just thought, yeah, I think that's a good way to get people kind of on their toes and looking and saying, like, what are these guys all about?
Yeah, it was really cool too, because one of the things that I noticed is everyone has within our name, it's Madden Sim Revolution. You guys are big on sim, and first thing I see is 100% sim, and it was like such a promotional thing to say, like 100% pure, or 100% organic, or something of that sort. Just to see that as a part of the promotion is super cool. And look, we have your award show for Madden 20 that you have up on YouTube. You can follow them on YouTube. MSPA, just seeing how you look like you're in the studio. You have the whole setup behind you with the graphics kind of rubbing into each other, having nominees. This is stuff that I will say, just looking at now, is inspiring. Some of the things in terms of awards we've done slightly before, but this is the way you've got this all coordinated. Just speak to some of the creativity that you all have there in MSPA.
Yeah, it's again, man, when I saw those stuff, I go around and I look at all your guys' stuff, man. Up until about 6 months ago, I didn't really know a whole lot about the Madden community. But I got introduced to a couple of people. I started doing some scoping, and I look at everybody's stuff, and it's not stuff that I look at and go, I want to take that and I want to do the same thing. I look at it and go, how can I take that and make that something that we could do and put our own like signature on it, right? So I see all these award shows that people are doing. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm a competitive person, man. I want to see if I can top some of this stuff. And now I'm trying to top some of my own work. So it's been a lot of fun. I like the challenge of it for sure.
Yeah, man. One thing that has been at least a personal one of mine is just, always having different types of content, folks, that, I'm a person that has literally found my way from being just literally on my phone, putting little templates together on different free apps, and, going on Twitter and just finding the right picture to go with what I'm tweeting about. Now you see guys that are able to take images off the game, or have people, participate to the point that you're all talking about nominees, your best clips. It's really opening up how people are thinking about, displaying what we do here in this Madden community.
Yeah, the cool part about it is up until this pandemic hit, I didn't even know how to do any of these graphic things. Like this is all new work for me.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
bro, this is just 6 months of work. Like I'm brand new into this. I'm still learning stuff every day. So I got to give huge shout outs to people in the Madden community too. Like Alpha was somebody over at Apex that really told me like, hey, these are some things that you can do.
Nice.
Jump into it and kind of see what you can do. So I mean, I've had a lot of help. I've reached out to Soden. I've reached out to you a couple times. Like everybody that I kind of talked out to is just kind of giving me little bits of info, and I'm kind of just now figuring out what our path is going to be.
Yeah. I want to open the floor to the panel here. Of course, we have Taco Jugs and as well as Kylo behind the scenes. Kylo, you might want to unmute yourself because they said they didn't hear you earlier. You guys, if you have any questions for MSPA, man, because like you said, we have a lot that's coming that we're looking at in terms of full production. But man, some of this stuff I'm seeing on the screen is just really creative. Go ahead. Anyone want to jump in?
Here,
Man, I'm gonna jump in there, bro.
Go ahead, Jugs.
Go ahead. My bad. You know, I was gonna jump right in, brother. Sorry. Look, I'm gonna jump in and say it like this, bro. What you're doing is amazing. The patience, the skill that you're putting out there, putting these things on together, and I'm sure that your gameplay is tight. I just want to show some, some love and give you some homage, bro, because that's crazy. Like I'm trash with the graphics, bro, but that right there is inspirational. You just started this and you got so good. I'm definitely gonna put my foot in it. Shout out to Heartless, because he's definitely showing out, helping us with classes. I'm gonna be on there as soon as I get this new laptop.
Yeah, and I got to give a shout out to the guys in our community. Like we've been doing this for 4 years, but again, up until about 6 months ago, I didn't even know anything about the Madden community. We've just kind of been building in our own corner. So, I mean, I've had guys like Brian, Nick, like I've had so much help from Moni, from just about everybody to come in and teach all these different things. So some of the graphics you see, that's done by Brian. Some of the videos you see, that's done by me. Like this is a community effort that we all do this together. And I don't ever want this to come across as this is just what Mo does for his guys. This is what we do as a community for our members. Like we love what we do. We want to get better at what we do, but we do it together for sure.
Go ahead, Kylo.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this award show, I was like looking at some of your stuff on Twitter, and it's just like there's a lot of stuff that I haven't really seen before. Like you said, you guys are definitely different. What were kind of the ideas or some of the ways you gone about making some of these videos? Like I saw there was the Lager one that we just saw, the ad there, but there was one where it was like overlooking a city. You're like going through the city and you hitting different spots about the league, going through that. And I thought that was something that was really unique too. So just explain a little bit what kind of went into that kind of stuff.
When we start talking about sim, I talk to a lot of leagues, and what I've kind of come across is that word doesn't really have a true definition, right? Everybody kind of has their own feeling of what that is. So what that means to us is not only do we want you to feel sim on the field and have rules that replicate what it's like to play in the NFL. I mean, we're playing, most leagues are at like 8 to 10 minute quarters. We're running at 12 right now with 20-second play clocks because we're trying to hit 140 almost plays per game. I want that chess match of real football there. And we make our sliders about as hard as possible. Like we're playing on all matters with even more difficulty. So if you're chucking deep in some of these, you're gonna get eaten. So like we've done everything we can to make the on the field product feel about as realistic as we can. Off the field, we've done stuff like the silent bid system for anybody that's 80 or above. We've created an app with the help of Dom that our guys submit their bids not in game but outside of the game in their own app, and then we put those into a silent bid auction where the player then gets to pick where he wants to go. So things like that. I mean, I don't really care if EA is going to fix a whole lot because I feel like what we do in the offseason anyway is better than the product they're probably going to put out regardless. So when we do those videos and stuff, the idea is to sell the community that we've created because we do feel like it's kind of its own product at this point. I do think like those overhead shots you see of the city, I want you to feel like this is a real thing, that this is dope. Like they've created their entire world over here where this is real football, but in a video game sense.
That is some very interesting and just sounds like the whole league is collaborating to make that experience possible. That's just awesome, man. You got guys, you look like yourself, you're doing or it's one of you guys here on the video doing a video with the kid. It looks like it's actually like, professionally filmed. You got the cutaway scenes. I mean, it's just like you guys are really into the whole cinematic, the whole presentation experience. And what's crazy is, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say like this is all what MSR wants to do. I mean, we have ideas of where guys are just, maybe being more creative with their Twitter accounts and this and that. But we're seeing, whole ad presentations and whole, like you said, the whole background. I mean, this right here, right now, I am learning things that maybe I didn't even know was possible in the Madden space. Taco, any questions from my man Mo? Because that's some wild stuff right there.
Yeah, sure. What is something that you guys do that is unique or something you've never seen anyone else do?
I think some of the apps that we have created, like the silent bid system that we do, that was all created in-house. One of the other things that one of our co-commissioners created is a contract for re-signing guys that the game's going to tell you, a guy like Hollywood Brown at like an 88 overall, the game's going to tell you can sign him at about $15 million. If that dude were to hit free agency though at 88 overall, I don't know how your guys' league set up, but I know in my league he's going to see a max contract, right? Yeah, so we created an app then that will combine his speed, his age, his overall to a different contract number that our guys have to resign. So he's going to see a more realistic deal at about $20 million if you want to resign him in season. If you don't, let him hit free agency and let him go get paid. We want to see guys get real contracts with what they would get in the real NFL. So like those kind of things that we put in is kind of eliminated what Madden gives me for an off season. But I find their stuff so broken that I'm going to create my own stuff anyway. So if they don't ever fix anything going forward and they keep this same bullshit, I don't know if I can swear on you guys this show. I apologize. But I don't know if they're going to fix anything going forward. But if they don't, I think I can pretty much put my own things in anyway, and we'll make something work.
Man, that's fantastic.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. Honestly, I'm gonna put it this way. I'm gonna say this for everybody, man. I wasn't expecting that. I'm getting game live here on our network because this is stuff that and again, what I'm seeing more that's super inspiring to me and just like really fun and attractive is that you got, more than just a couple of guys, man. You got 6, 7, 8 guys, and you got awards. So the people that are winning are able to give a speech. They're sending the videos. Last year, our team reveal show was something along the lines of this in terms of creativity, man. We had everyone sending a picture, and then, we would talk about upcoming players, talk about, what team could be for them, and, additions, key losses, all that type of stuff. So that to us was like the apex of us, really creativity. We're seeing how we can even push the envelope further. And what's wild is you said you just done this in the last, 3 to 4 months?
Yeah, it started about 6 months ago when the pandemic really hit and I had to start sitting at home, and I was either going to sit on my hands or I was going to find something to do. So this is what we figured out how to do. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Pretty much telling EAA, hold off real quick. I got this, man. And look, we talked before, but not even knowing it was to this level, man. This is dope to hear. We appreciate everyone joining us, man. That is the MSPA Commissioner Moe. Mo, you mind sticking around for the rest of the show?
Absolutely, man.
My man. All right, well, we're gonna keep it moving here on New Dawn Live, man. That's the MSPA. They are doing some big time things over in their community. Before we keep it moving, Mo, you want to shout out any of your league, or how could if anyone's interested, how could they check you guys out?
For sure, if you guys are bored, you don't have a league to check out, I'd love for you to check out some of the channels. You've got my channel that's got some MSPA content, but we got Daquan Cush's channel that's got 14,000 subscribers that he puts out his game every single week. So he records his game, he puts audio in, and he cuts it down to about a half-hour show. So you can go watch every single game he's played. We've got that for the Cowboys right now. We got that for the Packers. We got it for the Ravens. Next season next Madden we'll have it for the Cardinals. We'll have it for the Washingtons, the Colts, Chicago, more. Coming up, we've got tournaments with AHFL, 8-on-8. They've challenged us. We're going to show up. We're going to see how it goes.
Nice.
We've got our second league, Pandora, finishing up season 2. So we'll finish that up and get into Madden 21. But really, I just want to give a shout out to the entire community because without them, none of this would happen. So big shout out to the guys at MSPA.
MSPA Moe in the building. Appreciate him joining us here on New Dawn Live. And as we all know, we want to shout out our recent sponsors and presenters here on the New Dawn Live show. I want to shout out StubHub. StubHub has recently connected with the MSR in terms of a partnership program. They're looking to help us out in terms of, getting them more exposure, but also, seeing what is going on in this space that we talk about here in Madden, this franchise community. A lot of focus is on the guys that play in MUT. But there's a lot of focus that's starting to come in our direction and what we do here, especially following the hashtag #FixMaddenFranchise, and all those big hashtags that started to sprout from that. We want to reach out to StubHub, and they are reaching out to us here on the New Dawn Live. StubHub is the world's largest ticket marketplace with tickets available for over 10 million live sports, hopefully when sports open back up, COVID-19, music and theater events in more than 40 countries. They enable experience seekers to buy and sell tickets whenever and wherever they are through their desktop and mobile experiences. Shout out StubHub, now an official sponsor of New Dawn Podcast and the MSR Network. Fellas, I want to tie it over here to Taco. Taco, you did a great project over the last couple of seasons, working out the superlatives of some of what we saw with MSPA, but you worked out some of the superlatives here from different, questions, different, topics and different categories from around the MSR community. You want to go ahead and get started on that?
Yeah, for sure. So, as everyone knows, and some people know more than others because I was bugging them to vote, J-Rod. Anyways, I asked guys, to answer a few questions. Some people thought it was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. Just to announce some of I have the winner and then the runner-up for each one. I figured I'd start off with, if we're going to break here, I'd start off with offensive ones. So with the best passer, it wasn't that close. Kind of thought it was going to be a little closer, but it wasn't. The runner-up was the Bears, so myself, and then the winner, it was the Chiefs and J-Rod.
Okay, yeah, J-Rod, man, look, this cycle with J-Rod, you two actually were probably, in terms of the more prolific passers each season. You and Allen Robinson have a thing going on up there in Chicago, man. Just seeing how he is able to still, at his middle age of 33, 34 years old, he's still running routes like he's third, fourth year in the league. You've had a great cycle with him, but J-Rod, look, with Andrew Luck, what he was able to do to get those 3 titles and 4 Super Bowl appearances with Andrew Luck, one season having over 5,000 yards, another season where he's just, I think he completed almost 80% of his passes. He's had an array of talent, had Odell Beckham come over, of course, Tyreek Hill, had McCole Hardman, even had DJ Moore at one point. Man, he's brought in so many different pieces, but he's found a way to still be each and every year one of the top passers here in the MSR. Taco, who's next?
So for the best runner, I thought this one was going to be interesting because I wanted to really see how, what people would value. Would they value someone that runs more balanced or just that only ran? And the runner-up for that was DK and the Dallas Cowboys. And then the winner was the former Cotton and the Vikings.
Okay. So Cotton, the former member here of the MSR community, he is known for the craziest season on the ground in history, the most prolific, historic season here in the MSR. Joey Johnson, we call him JJ3K. What a year it was for him. Literally just setting trends in all types of ways. Man, at one point, it got so big that Joey Johnson has been on a t-shirt. He still is, but you catch on the Teespring MSR store. But he's also ended up going down to Miami, and it was literally off of the aura of the Joey Johnson season. Man, Smooth just had to have a little bit of that, and he's had him ever since. But you haven't heard of Joey Johnson too much. But man, that season.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, go ahead and speak about that, Chuck.
No, that's what I was gonna say. We had Joey Johnson was on a t-shirt. Now he's on a milk carton. That just tells you how dope Cotton was with that man. You see what I'm saying? Have you seen me? Is what we're looking for when it comes to Joey Johnson now. But that boy was 3,000 yards. He put up like 260 on us, maybe 300. I don't even know anymore. But it was crazy, bro. It's nuts. That boy was crazy.
I had to play him twice a year.
And he did you bad, didn't he? He did you bad.
Yeah, I think he averaged 500 yards a season on me.
Oh my.
That's total yardage.
Total
yardage. Yeah, because you would see him also, not even forgetting the all-purpose yards, so the kick return, the punt returns. He was that wild of a weapon. Kylo, I didn't get a chance to speak to you because you're usually up there in total yardage and high in the passing yardage. Speaking about J-Rod and being top passer.
Yeah, I mean, I think these are, I agree. I completely. I think I voted for these guys and right where they fell. J-Rod, he's had the weapons, but he's also had the knowledge and the stick skills and all of that to be able to, put it together year after year. With really, whoever was back there. I mean, Erickson came in and was just as good as Luck. So I mean, definitely him. And then obviously what Taco did with Trubisky and Allen Robinson, those guys. I mean, how many times do I have to play freaking Allen Robinson? And no matter what I did, he was gonna get the ball. He's gonna get those crazy catches. He was gonna get open, and that's because of Trubisky and Robinson's timing. It was just crazy. But for the runners, DK, man. I mean, I played Cotton before. I played Cotton when he had Joey Johnson, and he could run the ball, but that's all he did. But DK could do both. Definitely more of a runner, but I mean, how many times did DK just torch me with Pollard or torch me with who else was the guy? Chamberlain, Preston. Jeez,
Preston.
It was brutal. It was definitely brutal. I definitely agree with those guys.
It's always tough sledding in those trenches. You're going up against those Cowboys. But yeah, Cotton, and look, I remember right before he ended up leaving, he was grooming a running back. He spotted this running back that was dropped off someone's practice squad or the preseason cut squad, and he ended up picking him up in 62 or something like that. His name was Michael Baptiste. He's still in the league actually, and just how he was able to just literally pick it up and keep it going. Like, it was just like a whole Joey Johnson reborn. He was just trying to find a way to get another good running back in there. He did. He had a running back by committee. He was one of the better rushers here in the MSR. Taco, I'm going to let you read off one more before we get to the next topic.
Yeah, so just to end off the offense, it was the best overall offense. And among every question I asked, this was the second closest one.
Nice.
And I was actually really surprised at this one, but the runner-up was the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah, a little surprising. And then the winner was on our show, Kylo's Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, Judge, what you think about that top offense, Kylo?
So here's what's crazy. I've been an advocate of Kylo and his skill and changing from like great passer to having a great running quarterback to making that quarterback look like what we just seen in real life. Like I can agree with that. I think I might have voted for the Chiefs because I mean, Commish, we got to talk about it, man. Are we not sending any drug tests to the Chiefs? Like, he's putting drugs in their soup or something. Them dudes are always on fire on offense. Kylo doesn't beat you one way. He beats you any way that he can. Like, he just looks at your defense, he goes up, there goes the hole, kills you. The Chiefs, they force you to play defense, and it's going over the top. It doesn't matter what you do. It's a touchdown. It's crazy. I would also like to send out some blood work to Chicago because we all know that receiver is not fair. He's definitely been a nuisance to everyone. Shout out to Taco who's on here. So But yeah, man, that's big respect. You know what I'm saying? I think that the Eagles deserve it, but my vote was for the Chiefs, respectfully.
Yeah, for me with Philly, and I probably say a good reason why they pulled it out, and I would actually like to maybe highlight two different points in this cycle that would kind of back that up. The beginning of the cycle with Corey Clement and what he was able to do to really. I think I probably played Clement twice in that first few years that he was there, and the thing with Kylo is it was something, even a tip that I had to incorporate because it's real easy to just fall in love with that turbo, especially I got McCaffrey and I got guys that can really hit holes, things like that. But you have a running back like Clement where the speed is under 90, but he's got good agility, decent elusiveness, and you just read the holes. And that's all he was doing. It wasn't really too much turbo, a lot of holding, RB, running on conservative, or just literally reading the holes, and then he would hit that second hole area, and then it was like he hit another gear. And then you see Clement with these ridiculous seasons, 1,700 yard seasons, 1,900 yard seasons. Then I think it was a 2,000 yard season when he was one of the MVP candidates. I mean, it was just like it was that, and then you see the balance, the true balance, pro style kind of offense. Then you see the read option with Jalen Hurts, and then how he's literally taking that quarterback. And that first season where he. And look, rightfully so, didn't get the depth upgrade that you deserve. And I honestly wish that we went back on a few others because it just went ahead and did it, because there was some consistency that we stuck with that I feel like we just kind of was stuck into. But there was a few other players that had the dev upgrades that they deserved didn't come. And I feel that with Jalen Hurts was indicative of someone just having a wide offensive game, just being able to do things like a J-Rod where you can kind of switch styles and be able to do what you have to do to win. Kyler is one of the more balanced users in the league, doesn't really do too much to beat himself. So if you're beating yourself, you're definitely going to get crushed. And he was doing that with Jalen Hurts, just throwing, and then running, and then being able to run read option. 1,200 yards his rookie season. So I can understand why that would be total offense. Taco, did you want to get a comment before we move to the next topic?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because when I was, looking at the votes, I was going one by one, and at first it was like everyone was voting for the Chiefs, and then I don't know, man, something must have happened because then it was like the last 10 votes I looked at, it was like Eagles. I'm like, damn, Kyler's about to come back and win this.
Yeah, it was a lot of those moments there with those Eagles who were 3-time champion themselves in the MSR this cycle. So we're going to keep it moving here on New Dawn Live. I want to thank everyone for checking us out. League Crawler is a big supporter of New Dawn and MSR Network. League Crawler, you can check them out on the web, leaguecrawler.com. Look for Madden 2K League or any league that's just about what your skill set is looking for. Check them out, leaguecrawler.com, as well on Twitter at leaguecrawler. Season 22 just finished, fellas. We are heading to the final season of the cycle, season 23. And man, we have a new champion out of the NFC Beast, they like to call it. Tom, shout out to Tom getting a win in Super Bowl 22 over the Kansas City Chiefs, who were looking for their 4th ring of the cycle. Just quick comments, quick reactions to what we saw a few nights ago, man. I think it was almost a crowning for Tom. He pretty much earned it, even on a personal level. Some of the things he went through the cycle to not be around as much and having to take some losses that he didn't want to. He put it together, finally put it together. I mean, literally Daniel Jones got him as a 62, 63 quarterback. Now he's superstar, X Factor, 90 plus. Of course, he's got this running back now, LeBlanc, El Blanco, and then Darius Slayton, who has been with Tom and been with Daniel Jones from the beginning. Those two have a marriage that you can't break. Jugs, I'll start with you.
Man, it's crazy to see, the Giants win the Super Bowl because, we don't do that very often as of lately. I say it like this. I was very proud of Tom. I knew that once he got another running back in there that was legit, that team was pretty much going to be a good run for him. It was going to be good for him. I was always worried and concerned on how he let Saquon go, but he brought in some talent for him, so it wasn't a bad thing. And that division is just so crazy. I mean, we just talked about it. The best offense in the league, voted by everybody, came out of that division, and then he had to have his defense stack up, and he did it with mostly Giants. Literally, if you look at his roster, it's mostly Giants. Not many people can say that their roster looks very similar, or their best 2 players actually started with that team, from the beginning of the cycle. Not many people, and it's crazy to see, he's put in so much work, congratulations to that man. Let me give some love out to the Chiefs though. They came out swinging, they did what they had to do. It's just wasn't their time this time.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about the Super Bowl, and Daniel Jones was kind of we expected him to be dominant. He's going to put up a big game, especially he's got 86, and now this another receiver, Greg Carman, who's emerged as a threat on that offense. But then you just see El Blanco finally come of age, and I think it was during the playoff run. It really wasn't about the passing game; it was about LeBlanc and then that defense, and that defense really started to find themselves forcing turnovers. Tom had a comment right before the NFC Championship, guys. And he told Inside Sticks, he said, hey, look, we all know what I can do on offense, but if I can stop you and start turning the ball away from you, my team is unbeatable. And you saw every game, double digits, wins. I mean, it looked like that offense really knew who they were. They just knew they just needed to take that extra step as a whole team. And that defense helped out as well as that running back. Kylo, I want to get your thoughts here as well. You go against that guy twice this season, have to deal with, him, and as well as Dallas and DK. And one thing I'll bring Moe into as well, because Moe, this division, I'll give you some context. This division has had, out of the 9 Super Bowls, they've had a representative 7 times out of that division. And 3 of the guys have all been to Super Bowls and now have all won at least 1 Super Bowl this cycle. Kylo, you're an Eagles user. You deal with him twice a season, man. Just speak about what it was to see Tom, finally come away with the title.
It was balance. That's really what he's been missing this whole time. We all knew he could pass the ball. He's got Slayton, he had Valdez-Scantling, but you knew what was coming. You knew, when those posts are coming, you knew he was going to pass the ball. Now that he's got LeBlanc, you have no freaking clue, and he can do whatever you want, man. He's got joystick, he's got jukebox, he's got 92 speed, I think. He is absolutely, has the kit to do whatever he wants on offense, and he does what works, and now he's truly balanced, and it's impossible to stop him if you make any kind of mistakes.
Yeah, that's where it really starts to all come together. Taco, for you have to go up against Tom multiple times in either in your playoff runs or in your run to the Super Bowl. You two always seem to kind of find each other somewhere along the way. Speak about your runs and what it's like to play Tom on the way.
Well, going into this year's playoffs, I was feeling really good. I'm like, you know what? I think I make the Super Bowl as long as I don't have to play the Giants. I'm feeling good. And as per the past 4 years, I have to play the Giants. As we all know how that went. But yeah, really not surprised that he won it all. He's got a great team. He's a great user. Maybe a couple years, seasons ago, he had a couple breaks that didn't go his way. Well, this year it looked like there was nothing. There was really nothing stopping him. So, and he rode it to a pretty easy Super Bowl victory.
Nice. That is awesome. Yeah, you two have always just matched up, man. I think it was a couple years ago. You had him for a second, and Tom came back, and it was just like one thing when you play Tom, it's just that the poster coming at some point. You got to look out for 86 in a post, but it's like even if it's coming, it's like you're waiting on it, and then he may check out. It's just Daniel Jones and having that read. That offensive line doesn't get a lot of credit either because they give him time to really figure out, get to those third and fourth reads, that check down, finding LeBlanc, things like that. That's a lot in that run that you didn't see. A lot of check downs of LeBlanc that really helped that team get to those extra third downs and first downs. We're keeping it rolling here on New Dawn Live. Man, this has been a fun show so far. We got MSPA Commissioner Moe in the building, who's been putting us on game, showing us some great, creative abilities that they have over in their community. One other question I have for you, Moe, in the Madden 20 cycle, speak about maybe some of the trends or, big storylines that have happened throughout the cycle for you guys.
The big one was absolutely Cush's channel. He started off as the New York Giants. He didn't make the playoffs that first year. The NFC East for us, we call the NFC Beast, just because you could go 10-6 in that division and legitimately miss the playoffs altogether. The NFC was that tough this year, but he ended up missing out the playoffs the first year and then finished the very last game of Legacy, which is one of our leagues, with the Super Bowl win last night. So that was an incredible story from a year standpoint. I think the big one for the league, though, was just us adding our second league this year. A lot of people have like a development league. Yeah. We didn't go down that route. We knew that we had a lot of members that did not like abilities. We have a lot of members that did. So we just opened up a second league. MSPA became a brand. And now we have Legacy and Pandora. So that was probably the big ones for the league this year.
That's dope. That's dope having more like just and I think we've kind of come away from the development tag, so to speak. It's more like the Ascension League or just the partner or brother league, however you want to call it. Something of that sort where you're just kind of connecting the two, but it's all under the same umbrella. That's pretty dope. Yep. That's Legacy and Pandora, that's pretty cool. But yeah, we're gonna keep it moving here. We're getting ready to head to season 23 in the MSR. And look, with Tom now champion, we're now in the free agency part of the off season. The draft is tomorrow night, 8 p.m. There's been a lot of talk about. We had an episode early in the week about the commissioner episode where we had ex-CFL commissioner Nick Larson was on, Destiny commissioner BSK was on there as well, and then Sodenbo, his name's Soden. He came on to talk, and it was a great episode where we just kind of almost just shared what it's like to be in this space. We talked about Madden 21, the Fixed Madden franchise, hashtag what that has done. I want to bring you in a little bit here on Mo and kind of give you a floor because maybe just rehash some of the topics that we had. But we spoke about this whole Fixed Madden thing and what it at first, what the energy behind it was and what it meant to kind of put that that word out there. The community is the franchise community is really behind this. We really want to see more. I'll say personally, I don't need that much because I feel like the game gives me enough personally where I'm always going to get the enjoyment out of it no matter what. But I do feel that there's, that last update was given to us like it was like some small patch gridiron notes. It was almost like, it was an afterthought. Just speak to what, the last few weeks have been to you in terms about the Madden hashtag and whatever you just want to touch on in regards to Madden, what you listened to in the episode.
Where I'm at with what Madden 21 looks to be is I honestly, I don't know how anybody could have looked at where they're at as a company and expected anything different. And that's not a shot at EA. But with a pandemic going on, with guys working from home, with them transitioning to a new Xbox or the new PlayStation, whatever the next gen consoles are, looking at what they've done in the past, I just don't necessarily, I never expected franchise to be touched at all. When I look at the things that they did touch on, which was face of the franchise or this new mode, a lot of the stuff that I heard back was they're working on MUT and they're not giving franchise any love because MUT is making money. Well, MUT didn't get any updates at all either, right? So, and I know that there's members over there of that community. They're still looking for some stuff that they would like to see some fix as well. But that team that works on MUT, they were working on this new 6-on-6 mode, right? With franchise users, I understand what Madden did, and as a business owner, you have to look at what their model is. Their model is to look at data, right? The data showed when they looked back at all their stuff that over 90% of the people that logged into Madden 20 on any kind of platform gave some kind of time to face the franchise, right? And most of those people, myself included in one of these, got all the way to the point that I was drafted and realized this is now just a my player franchise thing, and then I stopped. So when EA gets that data back, they're looking and saying 90% of the people that bought this game are playing face the franchise. They're also looking over at games like NBA 2K or other modes that have a my player mode, and they're recognizing how far back their my player mode is compared to everybody else's. Now, do we want franchise fixed? Absolutely. I'd love to have franchise fixed. Do I recognize though that a lot of these other modes they have are really behind other games of the sports games out there? Absolutely. They have to step those things up or they're going to continue falling behind at the time. So I would love to have Madden updated. I guess I didn't buy into the hype that it was going to happen this year. I was just a lot more realistic about it.
Nice. Anybody want to give us a chance to react to that? Because look, since he's been speaking and how Mo's been dropping gems, Kylo, I'm gonna go to you first, man. I felt kind of the same way, bro. Like I really didn't think that it was that big of a deal in terms of having to be on Twitter and yelling at these developers and telling them you guys suck, this and that, you guys didn't listen to it, whatever. But I did think some of that, the pandemic being involved, and then of course the meeting spaces are different. You're not able to collab the way you want to. And because, like you said, other game modes were just a lot of things were haywire. Just speak to that, and whatever you wanted to respond to what Mo was saying.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot with what Mo said. Honestly, I played a decent amount of Face of the Franchise, especially when it first came out. I've always been, kind of missing a true my player mode. Like I remember I used to play my first real Madden where I put a lot of time into was like Madden 07 or 06, I think. And the whole thing about that, you could you could pick your parents, you had your phone, you had your room and stuff, and that's the stuff I really enjoy. And I even play. Haven't been a huge basketball fan, but I'm starting to come into it because of the my player mode or my career mode rather in NBA 2K. So I kind of like all these changes they made to face of the franchise. But I definitely hear, I do want to see all these changes for franchise, but it's just not realistic right now. Given they still have so much other stuff they need to work on. Everything needs some love, and with what's going on, they only have a year. I get why there wasn't things. I would still like something though. That's my thing. I want something changed. I don't want just new color scheme. I just want something that's okay, here's their thing they're changing, and that's what that is. Scouting, maybe. Just something where it just adds a little bit more to the franchise. Because having absolutely nothing at all change is kind of lame.
Nice. Jug, I'm gonna let you get in.
Man, I look at it like this, y'all. I agree to an extent with Kylo, but I also agree with Mo because I look at it almost like a relationship. We're giving these cats our money every year, And if anybody got a girl, anybody been with a girl, and y'all had some rocky times, and she's like, yo, you don't do this, you don't do that, and you just give her that little bit, sometimes it shut her up, but then she gonna complain about it later. You see what I'm saying? And we're that girl. So it's yo, we need to consider the fact that they're not giving us everything we want in the sky above because they busy. They got other things going on. We got a whole pandemic, but that doesn't excuse what's been happening in the past. They should have been doing, we should have been way more advanced than we are now. We're at the point where cars are driving themselves. Madden shouldn't look like Madden from 15 years ago, you know what I'm saying? In some ways, it should really have developed a lot better than it has now with our mode. Not talking about just the game. The game has done a lot of leaps and bounds, but it still feels like it's a rehash a lot of times. And when it comes to franchise, maybe they could have just said, you know what, guys, we know that you don't have this. Let's throw you a couple bones here and there. Maybe they add a couple things, during the year. The new consoles are going to be much more powerful. They might have that ability. So I'm hoping so for that. Madden, holler at your boy Jugs if you need any, ideas.
So I got a question for you guys real quick. So in MSR, what kind of things do you look at that's in franchise mode, either on the field or off the field, and you look at and say, this is the thing that is the most broken?
Easy one.
Go ahead, bro.
The amount of abilities that are rampant through the league. What was the count we had last? It was like over 200 or something. The ease of how it is to get these abilities and stuff, and you can turn them off, whatever. But it's fun to have those abilities, and it does add another aspect. But there's way too freaking many of them.
And
it's also
go ahead. I apologize.
It's also a lot easier to get abilities at certain positions than it is to get them at other positions. So it'd be one thing if it was really easy to get it at every position, but there's a couple key positions that are extremely easier to get in than others.
Go ahead, Mo.
So over at MSPA, the biggest issue that we deal with, and it's because of how long our games are these abilities, not just how many people have them, but how OP they can be, right?
Yes, sir.
Especially when we're talking about stuff like human joystick, some of the edge rushers being able to get off their blocks so quickly. Like some of those things are just extremely OP.
Right.
So when I look at it and I say, Madden team, you have this amount of time. These are the things I want you to work on. Again, looking at the problems we had this year, I would love for them to spend an hour or a day or a week or whatever updating some of these other things. But if they don't fix any of that, just fix the on the field stuff, because it's broken. This year, we couldn't produce same stats in a way that we wanted to because of how broken the on the field game was. So I am glad that they decided to fix some of that stuff, to adjust more abilities that would help make the ones they already had not as OP, fix the tackling so I'm not running right past the guy anymore and he's acting like he doesn't even see him. If they can fix that stuff, I'll be a pretty happy camper.
Yeah, for me on the field, the biggest problem that I was having with because I'm a very especially I'm big on strategy. Like I'm big on knowing situations, how to play within certain times of the game. Bend but don't break. Knowing how to make it to the fourth quarter in certain situations. But like in terms of defensive, like how I can literally have the line on the guy, and then because either my player, if I don't click into the player, then they kind of just get like looped into having to follow them. Or even if I'm controlling them, then like even if I'm like chopping my feet down, I'm pressing A. It's like it does nothing against an ability, even though that person probably has a short tackle, is like literally is a short tackler, high tackle attributes or anything like that. It just seems like those are the moments where those could be game breaking moments, or you get a stop and all of a sudden now it's second and whatever. They haven't had much happen all game, but then they get one big play because of human joystick, things like that. It's just it kind of throws you off, and it really made you wonder like what was the goal of the ability? Was it just to give more creative freedom on the field, or was it just to kind of just to feel like we're just at the old arcade pressing buttons and people just jumping around, flying around? It was just at certain times it felt really gimmicky.
I have an answer for that, man. The thing that they're doing with abilities going forward is I would not be shocked if within the next 2 or 3 years these abilities become more of a base and we don't have a rating system anymore. I think what they're doing is they're looking a lot about like what 2K is doing with these player builds and how these guys are reacting in certain situations. And I think as developers, they see that as a lot more organic thing, that if they can create more of these, what these players should be in their abilities and what their structure should be rather than just overalls, I think they're going to kind of get away from some of that. So you're going to see more builds. And I think this is just kind of the start of that.
I have a question for you. Sorry, I got a question for the panel. Just based off of what he said, and I love what he said. Now, I'm an old school Madden guy. I've been playing since the first Madden, before a couple of these cats been born. I'm gonna say it like this: they're holding on to the football simulation product, right? But they're adding in abilities and all this more comical stuff, like all this stuff that's very far-fetched, right? Why wouldn't they just leave it alone and let 2K take the reins of that and just have the game that we're playing? Like, because this game it's not true simulation if you got like, you know, just all these crazy abilities that no one else has. I mean, yes, there should be a distinct difference between a Patrick Mahomes and a Tyree Jackson, right? There should be a difference, but it should be glaring in your ratings, not because Tyree, you know, like not Tyree, but not because Mahomes can throw it, you know, 90 yards, holding turbo, running right, scrambling, because he has an ability like that. It should be because his ratings are better. You know, he's rated better, not because he is literally given a boost from the game that is not realistic. Like, no one, like, I played football. I'm not going on the field talking about, yo, I'm working on my joystick, fam. You know, like, that don't sound right. You see what I'm saying? Like, we out here, I'm trying to get my cuts together. I'm learning how to block, because I'm a running back. I gotta block sometimes. I gotta catch out the backfield. I gotta know, you know what I'm saying, read the linebacker's eyes, know that I'm about to drake him. Like, all of that. But like, they don't put that in the game. Like, they don't make the ratings matter that much. You know, like, if I have a guy whose elusiveness is there, he should be on the shift team. He should be breaking you down every single time he see you. It shouldn't be because he has joystick and jukebox that he's unstoppable. He should be able to see you and make those moves that no one else can make. You see what I'm saying? I feel like the rating should mean more, and if this is where we're going, they might as well let 2K take over the sim world, and then just make more of what we're seeing now.
I think that's what people do, yeah.
You know, people will still buy Madden. They will still buy Madden. Okay, don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. They will still buy Madden. 2K will make a game that plays more like real life, and will have the best of both worlds that way. I don't think Madden hears that. I don't think Madden sees that. You know, when right after 2K was able to make games now, they went and locked down simulation football for another couple years, and it's just like, I would, like, in my head the whole time, I'm like, dang, you really need to let the reins go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just let them go. You know, and let the comical stuff be for that. And the NFL will make bread. You'll make bread. Everybody be happy. You see what I'm saying? But they're just not thinking that.
Yeah.
What do you guys thoughts on that?
All good points, bro.
I came to play today.
Yeah, all good points, bro. I think like it's more like what Mo was saying too. It actually gives you cause to pause, man. It's like, is that what could be coming? Because, you know, they're already saying they're adding more abilities to this coming up Madden, and then, you know, they're tuning up some other ones. And then pretty much saying that they're here to stay. So is that where Madden, it makes you think, is that where Madden is trending, and maybe we just need to get on board and trying to find a way to operate within what could be a new system? But yeah, definitely great points, Mo, and appreciate that. As we are still reacting to the commissioner episode from this week. Taco, did you get a chance to listen? If you did, man, what was your takeaways from the recent podcast episode?
I did not yet. This has been a very busy week for me, so
Gotcha. That's all good. Kyler, how about yourself, man?
Yeah, I mean, I had a chance to listen to all of it, and it was really interesting to see here, like, you know, different leagues, you know, all with different rules and different ways they run in their own way, but, you know, having them connect and pretty much have the same thoughts about the whole franchise thing and how Madden 21 should be and whatnot and beyond. And I pretty much agree with that. I mean, we all can agree that in some way, shape, or form, Madden needs to develop and evolve. You know, it's right now, there's a lot of things about it that is definitely stuck in the past, and other sports games are doing better. But other sports games, what's annoying is it's other sports games that's within what they do. You know, I look at some other games that they have, like FIFA and NHL, and I play their franchise modes, and it's better. A lot of it's better. The scouting is better there. You know, the whole experience, the immersion is better there. So I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from. But it's just nice to hear all different commissioners and have them connect and kind of agree with that kind of mindset.
Dope. Yeah, man. It was a very refreshing episode, I'll say. Just even a couple of questions that was asked. You know, talking about what is the life of a commissioner like, and I think that was a moment where, you know, all of us on the call was just like, hey, all right, let's let's talk about that. Like, what is it like to be a commissioner? Mo, I'm gonna bring you in for this, man. I'm gonna ask you that question directly. What is it like to be a commissioner of a Madden League?
It's exhausting.
Talk about it, baby.
Oh boy.
It is probably it. I spend more time on my league than I do at my job. I have an amazing wife that allows me to do some of the things that I do. I'll say this. If it wasn't for MSPA, I wouldn't even be playing the game of Madden as much as I love football. It's just such a broken game. I mean, I play it because of the community.
Of course.
And I do all the stuff that I do because everybody that we do it for, like, they love it, but then they come because of it. So I get joy out of that, but it is definitely time consuming. I treat it like a second job I don't get paid for, even though I keep trying to find ways to get paid for it.
Right.
But it's a blast, man. It's probably the best gaming experience I've ever had in my life. I can't think of another game that I put this much time and effort into to enjoy it. So Madden's doing something, I guess.
Yeah, and I could relate to that, bro. Because one thing I said on the show was that it's almost thankless at times. Like it feels like you're doing so much, and then maybe from a bigger scale, someone's looking in like you're not getting much from it. But people don't see there's a balance involved here. Like you said, you have a wife that is very understanding and very supportive of you taking what's a hobby but making it feel like it's a real big part of your life. And one thing I'll say, and I don't know if I really said this to my whole community, but right before I was even asked to be commissioner, I was about done. Like the game had really kind of. I'm a very competitive person at heart. Like I wear my losses like very tough on me. That's just how I roll. But I'm also a big league guy. I've always wanted to be in a league like this where it's a battle. The competition is there every week, and then now I get to I have a thing that I say is like an affirmation. Like I like to ball and create. Like I love to play, really compete, but I love to create dope shit. That's just who I am. That's how I just like to find ways to always be creative. And I feel like I was losing that. We had some things go on here. We had a reboot that really kind of ruffled some feathers. And then, we had changes among administration. And I was really losing my fire, man. I had become an admin, but I just wasn't feeling it. It just wasn't the same, I think a lot of things had kind of taken its toll on me. But it's just like you said, it's the community. It's like when you see people come together and really try to enjoy something that we take an hour, 2 hours out of our day to really sit down on a controller and have some fun. And then of course in the chats, I'm in, like you said, I'm in the chats more than I'm, talking to other people in text messages or, interacting sometimes with folks in the house. I mean, has become to the point where I'm working this as if there is like the biggest golden pot on the other side, but I feel that is on the other side because I'm putting as much effort into it. I'm having fun. Like you said, it's tough to play this game this cycle. It's been really iffy with some of the things that's involved with the game, but I'm enjoying what it is to now have my own community and folks are really just locked in and really being as creative as possible, and we're all trying to grow together. And I think that part is what people miss. They don't really people that speak outside of this space wouldn't understand, because it's a different kind of commodity that you have with people who are all over the world, sometimes all over the country. They're coming together in one space, one server to really have a great time and just try to all put together some dope stuff, man. And I feel that's what you were getting at as well on your end.
Yeah, man, it's there's nothing I have that I've ever, I mean, I have my family, I got my kids, like that's a completely different type of thing. But the bond that you make with some of these people, like it's not like anything that I have anywhere else. Like I've got friends, I got family, but my gaming family is a big part of that. So yeah, everything we do, that's where the enjoyment comes in. And I'm just like you, man, at some point I hope there's a big golden pot of something somewhere that's on the other side.
Right. Because it, like you said, I did a sponsor read early, and this is stuff that it still surprised me. Like that is available. Like they think that's something they can. Okay, cool. Like I'm all about whatever it is can help this league grow. Because it's never about me. That's one thing. It's never really about the person at the top. It's all about the people that at the bottom who all feed the big chain that is our leagues, MSPA and then MSR. Yeah, Fellas, I'm gonna get back to Taco and let him read off a few more of our superlatives before we get to the wrap-up part of the show. Taco, what do we have next from the superlatives?
Just flipping the side of the ball and going to defense. For the best run defense, this one was pretty. First place was kind of not that close, but there was some decent close finish for second place. The runner-up ended up being the Dallas Cowboys. And then the winner was I was actually a little surprised. I don't disagree, but I was kind of surprised people voted for this one. The winner was Joey and the Chargers.
Okay. Yeah, Joey.
Shout out Joey.
I will say one thing about Joey. Joey has always had a very stingy, tough defense. It usually when he struggled the most is when he was always turning the ball over on the other side. But his defense was always there, always kept him in the game. And you saw once he finally got it all together on both sides of the ball, he made that Super Bowl run in season 21. Kylo, what are your thoughts on Joey and being top defense?
That's an interesting one. I really, people don't usually think about Joey. I think I had him, up there too, but I don't think I had him first. I don't remember who I did, but it's interesting. I don't think he definitely deserves that, but he's definitely forgotten about because he hasn't had a whole lot of success this cycle. But you look at his defense and the way he's played with it. His defense has always been the one that saved him and won him games. His offense is one when he was having issues that didn't win him games. That defense has always been stout. So that's a good one there.
Go ahead and jump in, Jugs.
Man, Joey, he locks down, bro. I mean, I got to give it to him. He doesn't play the game like as fancy as other guys. He is like smash mouth. He runs. He plays defense, and that's when he turned his season around. As soon as he got a good, he turned his whole cycle around. As soon as his running back became what he needed. He had some good backs before that, but he got one that exactly fit his scheme. And that defense was just stingy. I mean, couldn't run for a yard on that, man. It was crazy. So, I respect that. Shout out to Joey, man. You did great this cycle, bro. You deserve it.
Quick shout out, guys, that's been in the chat. I would be remiss if I didn't shout out who's joined us here on the MSR Network. Heartless is here. Harris 2300 is in the building. Of course, Taco was in the chat. Red was here tonight. T Wayne is in the building, checking out everyone here. We also have Samoan, my guy is here. He's been a big chatter here tonight, as well as Heartless, Fick. I see you, baby. You always in the building. See as well. Jigga J Rod was here in the chat as Muck joins us tonight as well. Taco, what's another superlative you got, man?
Going to best pass defense. Runner-up was again as a runner-up myself and the Chicago Bears, and then the winner is the former Sonny and his Cleveland Browns.
Okay, yeah, Sonny's Browns team. I mean, literally from the gate, you come out the gate with Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward. He's made other trades throughout the cycle, bringing in safeties. He also had Avonte Maddox for a few years. Then, of course, Kyler got his boy back. There was a lot. There was a lot of really good defensive. Of course, Myles Garrett, can't forget about him. It's crazy though when you think about it, man. You think about all that talent that was on the Browns team, and they only made one Super Bowl. That's crazy when you think about it. That goes about the whole competition of the league as well.
That Browns team was crazy.
Speaking about that Browns team and their defense, I just remember the one game I had for Sony. It was like a Week 17 game, and it meant a lot, and I had the game in the bag. I had it in the bag, and then his passing defense just came to play all of a sudden, and I threw like 2 interceptions. One was a pick six, and it just brought him right back into the game. I was like,
it was like Week 17 or something, right?
Yeah. And then it brought us to overtime, and I threw like another one, and I ended up luckily getting a interception myself and winning it, but it was close. That defense, that passing defense, literally almost won that game for him.
Yeah. That team was, man. You talk about, like I said, Ward. You got Greedy. I forgot that. I think was it Bates that he had. He also made a trade for a couple other guys, man. That defense was always swarming. Like that man coverage press. I mean, it was suffocating at times. Taco, give us a couple more here before we wrap it up.
Just to go to best overall defense. So first place for this, before I go with run-up, I just want to say first place wasn't that close, but runner-up, there were 4 people that were extremely close, being myself somehow, the Chargers and Eagles, but the runner-up did eventually go to by just barely to Dallas, and then the winner for best defense went again to the former Sonny and his Cleveland Browns.
Oh, that is surprising. Best defense. Look, man. I said we just spoke about the defense. I think maybe Myles Garrett because of just the insane amount of sacks he was putting up each and every season. Maybe that swayed some folks, but there's a couple other guys in that running up list that maybe I can't even remember who all the guys that I voted for, but I think there was a few more Yeah, there's a couple of guys on that run-up list I probably would have taken over the Browns. What about you, Kylo?
Yeah, I mean, those are all guys you can interchange them. It's really, to me, those are guys are all coin flips. I think one guy that's probably forgotten about too a little bit is, I don't know why he always is for his defense, but King's defense, he has all the superstars all the time, and he's played good defense, great defense. You know, most of the time it's just in the playoffs when he's falling apart, but a lot like the other guys in that list too. But there's been a lot of good overall defensive guys there. But I mean, I guess you could give it to Sony. But his running defense it was kind of suspect at times, so I'll give him that.
Okay. All right. One more, Taco.
All right, and I know I had to say this one when I knew I had to say this one when I knew I was doing this. Among every poll I've ever done, whether it be superlatives or regular season poll, I've never had a answer be this so far apart. First place is so far apart. Obviously, I said everyone, you can't vote for yourself. All right. So outside of the one person who ended up winning this, there was only one other vote for someone else. So they got every vote but one, and that was the best primetime announcer. And Timbo, you won it.
Oh. Absolutely.
Surprise there.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate that. Look, man, one thing I'll say about being on here, I've even told Kyle this a couple times. I think it's more of a comfort thing. I'm not really, I don't like to host that much. I really don't like to be the one that you hear coming into the show. I mean, I just never been a person that needed to be on Front Street so you can hear me. But it's my energy. It's my energy for this league. It's, I try to treat these games, especially once the quarantine started. I just want to treat these games like you were watching the game of the week here on this network. I mean, it's really something that I've really taken pride in. Even to the point now, I've asked for feedback from people around the league. Just tell me, hey, what do you hear when you hear me on this show? Is there some, what words do I constantly say all the time? Is there ways I can sound better? Is there something I can do to, make this broadcast better? And it's feedback like that from from the network team, my guys around me that always let me know, hey, you do this, or let's check this out, or let's try this. They make it just as easy as you guys may think it sounds when I do it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, we've had some great moments. I think we're gonna probably run a montage of some of my biggest calls before the cycle's over. I got someone working on that. I mean, look, the field goal, the fake field goal call. I mean, against was it J-Rod and Joey in the playoffs? It was season 3, I believe. That was probably the one where it was. I'm damn near squealing on the call. I'm just losing it as that play happened because I could not believe that he called a fake at that moment. It was just no one was expecting that. And I just look, the way you guys hear me is how I am when I'm watching the Cowboys, when I'm watching my Tar Heels and basketball, all my favorite teams. I am the same way as I am on these broadcasts. I feel like I'm at the game. I feel like I'm on the team. I feel like I'm in the jersey. It's the whole nine. But I appreciate that. Thank you all for voting for me on that one. Taco, want to thank you for joining as a special guest tonight here and breaking down the superlatives. He'll actually be bringing out the whole list for us in a written blog coming to you all very soon. So stick close for that. I want to thank our guest, man, MSPA Commissioner Moe, and what a great community he seems to have over on that side. I want to thank you for joining us here tonight, man. You reached out immediately after the episode dropped on Thursday and said, hey, I would love to join your show and, to see what you guys going on. And, man, you brought it today. I want to thank you for joining, sir.
Yo, thanks for having me, guys. And I like talking with other people in the Madden community. It's the best way to learn.
It is, man. I think I can say that for a few people here in the league that you put us on some game. I'm sure maybe even a few guys maybe reaching out to even see what's going on with joining, because man, that's some awesome stuff that you see over there. And I'm not even going to pretend to make it seem like these are any of the ideas that I had. But one thing I could tell, man, the playing the 12-minute quarters, that is a dream of mine. I've always wanted to play that in one area where that, to be able to play that long and just have that type of competitive chess match. That's something I know that's not going to fly here, but it's something that I would definitely have always maybe aspired to be a part of, because that's just you really putting the time and effort into that. You really got a game plan. You probably got to scout a couple hours before.
Oh yeah, man.
I love that. I love going to watch people's streams and figuring out their tendencies and things like that. So that's pretty cool, man. I appreciate you sharing that with us here on New Dawn Live. Kylo, my boy, making sure we look and sound clean, stepping in tonight. As I am here for Falco as well. He's having a great anniversary weekend with him and his wife. Want to celebrate him. And also Jugs, my boy's back in the building here tonight on New Dawn Live. And I want to thank everyone.
Can I drop one?
Go ahead, bro. What you got?
Let me drop one. One, to my man, Mo, listen, you're new to it. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. This is what community means. You know, there's a lot of people that claim to be at the very top of this Madden community, franchise community. That's not real if you're not willing to give. Like, you came on here dropping gems, you're telling everybody how you do your things. You know what? We're down to share information so everybody grows. If only one league think they eating, then everybody's starving. You see what I'm saying? Yep. So we're giving out love, man. We'll have anybody on. I'm loving what you do, bro. Thank you. There was also another poll. It was a 1 of 1. Buda Baker's the best safety in the league. Thank you.
Oh, boo. Anyway, thank you, Jugs. Kylo, any final thoughts before we get out here, bro?
No, I just want to thank MSPA Commissioner Moe again. I mean, I'm watching some of your stuff here, and I just kind of found out about your league a little bit, just a few minutes ago before the show, when Timbo was like, "Hey, check out some of his videos and put up on the show." I was like, "All right," and I was just watching it here, and and all about on some of it, it's just like stuff I haven't even thought of doing for anything in here, and it's just really nice to see some of that stuff. And it's nice for commissioners to just, if all these leagues, to get involved and get in touch with each other, because all these leagues have something different to offer each and everybody. But if we can all get together and share ideas and make all of our leagues better, it's just going to make the community that much stronger. So I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. I had a lot of fun. You guys got an awesome thing going here.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Taco, again, want to thank you for joining here as a special guest with the Superlatives. Thank you for getting that together. Any final thoughts before we wrap up tonight's show?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks, Mo, for joining us. Always great to hear another voice in the community. And then would it be all right if I announced one more?
Oh, go ahead, bro. You got it.
I just figured this one was probably the big one. Best overall user in this cycle. It's pretty obvious it was going to come down to two people, just, who was first and who was second. Although I will say there was a third person that got a vote. This one was very close. No, it was not. It was not myself. God, no. If someone voted for me, I don't know no. Again, really close. It came down to a point where I thought it might be a tie. Maybe not unfortunately, but the tie was broken with one of the last votes. I guess I'll announce the winner first. So the best overall user, as voted on by the MSR members, was J-Rod and his Chiefs, and runner-up to Kylo.
Yeah, I can see that, man. You two, look, man, these two guys, Mo, quickly before we get out of here. Kylo, who's producing and has done a lot of stuff with the network. He's the Eagles user, and he's been to 4 Super Bowls, and he's won 3 of them. One, especially in the NFC, it was always him and a couple of guys in the NFC East that you had to get through, as well as San Francisco. So he was a 3-time champion, as well as J-Rod, the Chiefs. He's been to 5 Super Bowls, and he won 3 of them. At one season it was looking like they were going to have a couple of back-to-back clashes where they met multiple years in a row before one of them may have lost. But yeah, those two were pretty much always as you saw, they shared this amount of championships, but they were always one of the ones you had to worry about in the Final Four. So Kylo and J-Rod. J-Rod winning as the league's overall best user, voted on by the MSR community. We are out of here, guys. What a show it was. We want to thank again Mo for joining us, as well as Taco. We want to thank our sponsors and presenters. StubHub is the world's largest ticket marketplace with tickets available for over 10 million live sports, music, and theater events. Hopefully with COVID-19 getting out the way, we will get back to that in more than 40 countries. We are excited that they are enabling to buy and sell tickets whenever and wherever they are through our desktop and mobile experiences. StubHub is now official partner of the MSR, as well as League Crawler. You can find them out on Twitter at League Crawler, as well as leaguecrawler.com. League Crawler is a Yelp-type directory of leagues and players submitted by the community of users to help make the sports gaming community a better place to play. If you're looking for a league like a 2K or a Madden League, you can put up a post and see where your skill set meets up, and then you could join them all through League Crawler, leaguecrawler.com, an official sponsor of the MSR. For everyone here tonight, I am Timbo, Taco, my man Jugs, as well as Kylo and Mo. We are out of here. Check us again here on the